Alright, so just woke up from a hardcore nap. And finish these other two episodes off for the week. But I'm certain that next week's one episode followed by like 3 more should be way more organized and well put together. But for this episode here, we're just going to be doing a little bit of discussion on how I'm making this, as much as I can tell you that we're making this album right now. That certainly has got to provide a little bit of insight to those of you working on projects yourself. Be in like a home studio, or you're paying somebody to use their studios, or what have you. But this is gonna be basically all about me, my current ongoing project, and the current construction of the socials that I have going on. As I said, any comments, drop them, and enjoy. Episode 10. Alright, now this being a prime example of what I have to work on with just little stuff. That's everybody has to work on that kind of stuff too. The beginning of this audio snippet.
This Magical Life, a podcast dedicated to
cut. And then kind of audio engineering. So with that, just putting that out there, I mean, I'm definitely curious how what people think about it, if they relate to it, or if they disagree because they like AI doing everything better. I mean, even that said, I'm still not sure that there would be any kind of AI technology that would keep you from having to do little stuff like that, where you are removing the beginning of the clip because I, did it a little too, pressed record a little too early or something like that, and kind of just having that be part of the process and part of the fun. I really want to see what other people's thoughts on that. So, rate the show here on this app and comment as well on any of the socials. I gotta do definitely a little bit of talking about the socials and current ones that are available, and kind of keeping it in the spirit of staying on topic for now. I'll stay on the recording part of the process first, before we mosey on, segue through into the social part aspect of the process. But it's certainly helpful that I have that as a good opener too, or something happened at the beginning of the recording of this episode where I have that example to go off of. If I wanted to be really cynical and sarcastic even, I can just say, hey, that's AI, or just call that AI. Just be like, hey, I don't mind using that terminology for a second, for all intents and purposes, so to speak. Et cetera, so on and so forth. But getting down to some of the concrete stuff that I want to get into with the current recording of this project is, I definitely want to talk a little bit about the different types of software that you can use in it, that I have experience in using, as well as stuff that I've seen other people using too. So, for this current one that I'm doing right now, I think I was just talking to somebody recently, I can't remember who or where, or under what context at all, but that they mentioned that they use the same software, so they have some experience using the same one, the mobile version of the software, whereas the company that makes this does desktop version as well for your PC or Mac. And that's another one too that I have a friend that uses, or at least mentioned using the same one for I believe it's for PC. So, it would have been actually more helpful if I just kind of waited to do the episode until after I got to talk a little bit more about that. But it's not that that's even that important for me anyways. I'm perfectly fine doing right now recording this on mobile version of the same software, and I'm way more happier with this than I was with the PC version of the software that I was using on my PC. Just based on how much more I can do. This I can actually generate sounds as opposed to just recording. So the other software that I was using, I made the absolute most of it and could completely just customize all the different kinds of styles of sounds, ways that I wanted my tracks to come out and sound, and that I don't know if I have any credits put out there for it, but it's not that it's that important anyways. But for this one, I can actually generate the sounds in terms of my experience in small increments. Really, I really can't do a whole lot with creating an entire beat, but that's really even just because I haven't even put my mind to it yet. Honestly, I'm laying down all the actual physical instruments first, such as the guitar and the wind instrument that I have with vocals, and then kind of tinkering with the drums a bit has me, feeling in that overwhelmed way, where I need to kind of have everything be organized. So I just I'm just starting off in that order where the lyrics for me come first, and then I'm doing these physical instruments, and then I'll work on all this new stuff as far as I know, I'm like already right now technically past whatever deadline that I was thinking. So the work that I'm doing on this project is totally on schedule with like the reality of how realistic it is for me to finish the lyrics to recorded vocals, followed by finished written guitar riffs, guitar parts on recording, where that's all that I have right now. So the actual deadline for things, I think if it's in my calendar, I'll have to even dig it up. I'm not sure when it is, but I think coming out with an actual deadline is a little bit but this cluster of work that's on my plate right now with the whole project itself is massive. So I would really almost honestly be doing myself a disservice if I started trying to create some kind of deadline for when I want this stuff to be released, let alone the self-promoting part of the process, on what platforms these are going to, where I can be certain that you'll find it on Spotify, or at least almost certain. The last time, like, I'm doing these podcasts right now on Spotify for podcasters, but that took me a second try, where when I sat down the first time to actually start that account and then try to push things out on Spotify, put my podcast on Spotify, it was so much more frustrating than I had the patience for, and couldn't get it to kind of cooperate with my device. So, if you needed to hear like something concrete from me in terms of where I'm at with the completion of this project and stuff, I don't have a ballpark area for you to reference, and it's just safe to say, like, if your friend asked and you had to tell them, they're like, when is this going to come out, and then you had to tell them something, it's the only thing you could say for sure is just like, I have no idea. Like, it is still at this point an absolute mess. On the plus side, what is not an absolute mess and what can be anticipated for the future is that this new season here is now as of this episode 6 episodes in, with 18 more to go, I think. So that'd be 18. See, even just sitting to sit here and try to do mental math is a hindrance. Even, I mean, what's not a mess too, what you can look forward to and anticipate and kind of fill your time with in the meantime that has anything to do at all with any content that I'm creating is Twitch. You can be certain on my Twitch there's going to be reruns of the show. I think I'm as long as that old episode is up or that old video is up, I can just stick with the old incarnation, leave everything there, and then just do reruns of this show and this current incarnation with video, most likely video accompaniment, where you can kind of see my screen navigating through some of the hidden extended episodes that last an hour long or something like that. Whereas right now, I'm pretty happy with the whole thing just being kind of inconsistent with whatever freedom that connotates. So any other stuff that goes with the news from me, for me, that kind of like has a pertinence to the project is that I've already announced way back when the lyrics were all finished. The guitar parts have been started, and there's still, I can count on two hands how many more guitar parts need to be laid down. With the guitar riffs that are actually written, like not written down on paper or any program or anything, just written like I wrote the riffs and then memorized them, kind of thing, from playing them repeatedly. And I can't do really any of this stuff on the Twitch, however, but I can do whole albums of certain bands with vocal covers and guitar covers. For now, one at a time, and then, you know, maybe on some of the special episodes I'll do both, but I can't even mention it. It's not even, it wouldn't even be a big deal if I was singing and playing at the same time. So whatever you'll find on the Twitch as far as that is going to be that. And kind of like having this software do its thing. You know, there's not a whole lot to talk about until the whole thing's finished, but there's the usual frustrations with stuff not cooperating or having to do stuff, or, you know, I forgot to do this before I mixed it down into an MP3 file and all that stuff. So just a word to other people doing the same thing, you know, make sure you guys keep at it and don't stop, and just keep your patience as best you can. And let me know how your journey. Yeah, keep me in the loop with how your journey is going with your own projects and stuff like that. Even if it is some AI stuff, I just feel myself way out of the loop with how that is. But I'm interested just for side banter. It's not like I'm going to be resorting to using any kind of AI technology anytime soon, but no biggie at all. So all the other specific juicy good details about the album will definitely be revealed later. I'll have a whole episode about it or something, and for now I think that's gonna be enough for me, and signing out. Later, boy.